everyone. Welcome to this week's Shimelle Sketches Reimagined. This is this week's sketch. And my plan right now is to kind of follow it fairly closely, but we'll see how it works out. A couple of things special about this class. First of all, or about this video today and this layout, I'm going to combine it with a challenge over at a Cherry on Top for National Scrapbook Day. This video will go live Wednesday, and the challenges do not end until the weekend, so the 9th, 10th, which gives you a couple more days to get in on this challenge if you like. So the challenge is from fellow design team member Natalie Dill, and her challenge was to take a sketch and then one element of the sketch to add mixed media to it. So the element of the sketch that I'm going to add mixed media to is this section down here, which is allocated on the sketch for journaling, but I don't have a lot of journaling with these photos. I have a little bit, but for the most part, they're pretty self-explanatory. In fact, I don't even know that I'm going to journal at all on this page. So I'm going to turn this section down here into some mixed media. I'm going to be using this Distress Grit Paste from Tim Holtz. It's the opaque one. It's gorgeous. I picked it up at the Cherry on Top shop and played with it for the first time this weekend, and I just love it so much. So we're going to play with that a little bit. I am not going to do 3 photos. I'm going to do 2, and these are the 2 photos I have. This is me and my sister. My sister, her name is Melanie, and she is actually on Instagram, Melly Arts. She's a paper crafter too. She rents part of our house from us, so she has been with us during all of the stay-at-home orders and quarantines and all that. So I have a picture of her and I together, and then I have a picture of her with my 2 boys. To go along with that, some other products I pulled 2 stencils. I'm not sure. I almost want to say we're going to go with the hearts for the bottom part of the page, but I'm not 100% sure, so I pulled them both out. I have some hot press watercolor paper to do my mixed media on to limit the warping. I have some products from Colorcast Designs. This one that says Porch Pictures, Spring 2020. That's definitely what these are. So I think that that's going to be perfect for this layout. And I have a die cut tile that says Bright Sunshiny Day that I think I'm going to use on my layout. We'll see how that goes, but this is what I pulled. And then for my paper supplies and die cut supplies, I have these 3 beautiful papers from Shimelle's Never Grow Up collection. I have some die cuts pulled that I thought matched the colors, but I might pull some more in, and then I just grabbed the cardstock sticker sheet from the layout. I also have all these butterflies, so if you remember, I fussy cut this entire sheet of paper. So I pulled the butterflies out. I really like this one, because it has all 3 of the colors we're going to be working in. It has the teal, the navy, and the coral, and those are the 3 colors I want to pull into a lot of this layout. So that is my plan. I'm going to get started with the mixed media, and we'll see how we go with this. Okay, so let's get started with this amazing opaque grit paste. This is like the coolest. It's like modeling paste, kinda, except it's super fluffy and super smooth, and it just goes right on. Look at that, how beautiful. So this stencil is from Vicki Boutin, and this is the one I decided to use all the way across. So I was very careful and slow with my stenciling and this grit paste so I could just get it exactly the way I wanted it. And I went ahead through and did 3 of the stencils across the bottom of my page. And then when it was thoroughly dry, I'm coming in with some Ripe Persimmon Distress Oxide ink and my life-changing brushes from Picket Fence Studio. And because this grit paste gives me texture and a little bit of dimension, I'm able to just ever so lightly go over the hearts with this Ripe Persimmon and just give it a little bit of color. I don't want to completely color in the areas. I just want to give them just a touch of color, just a little bit of attention. And this worked out beautiful on. You can see it a lot better in the close-ups and in the finished layout. I know on here, because of my harsh lighting, it kind of looks a little, maybe a little silly, but in real life it did exactly what I wanted it to. It's just going to give those hearts a little bit more color, a little bit more attention, and I think it turned out really, really pretty. So now I want to go ahead and work on the area where all the things are going to hang off of. There are probably 20 ways you could do this, I think. What I chose to do was I got an oval kind of stencil. It's an old cutting template from Creative Memories. I'm kind of getting an idea of where I want my photos to be, and then I'm going to add some loops around with my pencil. And then I'm just going over it with a black pen. I'm giving some areas some thick lines, some areas some thin lines, giving it a little bit of dimension, making it look like it's just a white or a black string. So you could do this with stitching. You could do this with twine. You could do this with embroidery thread, just lay some glue down and then follow. I just did it this way because I was just in the mood to draw. It's just that simple. So I'm going to go over the whole thing. Plus, the other thing is I knew a lot of this is going to get covered up. You're in the finished layout, you're not going to see a ton of this, so I didn't want to do anything that was like really, really pretty or involved. Like I didn't want to stitch necessarily, things like that, because I knew like most of this is going to get covered up. To give it a little bit more attention though, I did grab my Nouveau Morning Dew drops, and I'm just going over all of that drawing with the Morning Dew drops. Then I'm going to set these aside, and that gives me a little lip to kind of hang things from. And now I'm going to go ahead and work on my pictures. So I'm starting by matting both of my pictures. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create these banner shapes. So for each of my 2 photos, I'm cutting one large banner. And then I'm going to go ahead and mat my photos. I'm just using I'm sorry, I just lost my voice completely. My mind just decided to go out to lunch. I'm going to use the navy and the coral for one of my photos and the banner, and then the other one is going to be that more aqua colored, and then I mat my photos with the coral. Once I have those initial banners and my photos done, I went into my Kiwi Lane templates and I pulled 2 of the tag templates. This is the mini accessory pit pack that has these tags, and I just love them. I use them quite often. They're one of my very favorite Kiwi Lane templates. And I'm going to take all of these all of the papers that I have, and I'm going to cut 3 or 4 different banners, banner shapes for each of the pattern papers I chose to use. Once I had all of those banners cut, I inked them up using Vintage Photo Distress ink, and now it's time to get this banner done. So my plan is just to make sure that starting with the biggest ones and then filling in. And what I want is I want everything to be somehow touching my string. That's going to really give this layout that banner look. So you can see here, it doesn't have to touch the string, completely. I'm not putting things at a harsh angle, but I'm going to start with the photos and the big banners, and then you'll see how I kind of go back in and add the smaller banners, and the smaller banners are going to fill in those gaps. And so I'm just going through, I'm grabbing all of these banners. You can see here how I'm going to just attach them where I start to see the gaps between my string and between the banner. I'm just going to fill all these in with all the different patterns. I also cut some really small little banners using my using the branding strip from that coral paper, and that's going to help fill in the gaps. I'm sorry for my head. My head is here a lot because I was really wanting to get these banners in at just the right angle and just the right spacing, and the easiest way to do that was to just get my fuzzy head right up underneath. So the next thing I want to do is I want to cut off the banner pieces that are hanging off the edge. I like this look, the idea that these banners are kind of flying, off the edge of the page. I think it's a cool look, and I think it worked really well. So I'm just going to trim those edges off, and then I'm going to start working on the rest of the elements to my layout. And I love how that mixed media, when I flip this over, you'll see how that mixed media, I think you'll be able to see, yeah. See how that mixed media kind of just comes down out from underneath my photos. Okay, so now I want to work on the title piece up above, and I am going to use this acrylic piece that says Bright Sunshiny Day as my title. I love the wood grain. This layout turned out beautiful. I really, really like it. At this point, I'm kind of just going off on my own. I'm not paying attention to the sketch at all. You guys know that this is what I do. I kind of start with like the basic elements of the sketch, get them down, and then I kind of just go off on my own little place. So I'm going to adhere down that acrylic piece with some tape runner. I will eventually glue it down good, but I know I want to stick some things underneath it. So I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of these floral die cuts and kind of tuck them in and around my title piece. I have those banners there. I have that acrylic piece nestled like just so I know I'm ready to kind of go ahead and stick that down. And I put that wood veneer piece that says Porch Pictures, I put that up on my layout as well, up by the banners, because I want to make sure that I get that wood veneer spread throughout the layout so it's not just in one spot. So the next thing I want to deal with is there is that gap between the banners and my one photo, and you can see it there under the two curlicues, and I really want to fill that area in. I love the curlicues that I added to the banner, so I don't want to cover them up, but I do want to definitely add some things into that little like white space gap that's there. So I'm just going to go ahead and add these little flowers. I cut some of the larger flowers in half so that they could interact with the edges of the photos and create kind of just these fun clusters. I am going to go ahead and also add some of the wood veneer flowers from Colorcast Designs. I just love the, I love taking these colors and pulling them in with the warm wood tones. I just feel like it just went really well together. I was super happy with how this layout came out. So I'm going to add some of the wood veneers, and these are really thin and fun. If you've never ordered from Colorcast Designs, you really should go check them out. They're one of my Colorcast Design orders is one of the things that I'm desperately missing during my spending quarantine. This was this order here with the wood veneer flowers and such. That was my last one. That was my last Colorcast Designs order, and I'm just, part of me wants to hoard it, but I also really wanted to use some of it. So I'm just going to keep on here. I'm going to add flowers. I'm going to add the wood veneers, and I'm popping in butterflies here and there. And I love it. I love how this layout turned out beautiful. So as I cut things down, as I'm putting things down, I will tell you that I meant to the entire time to add one butterfly at the end of each of the banners. And of course, after my photo was done, after my layout was done, after the video was done, I went to put the layout away and went, oh, I forgot those butterflies. So I do go back and do that and so then I retook the pictures, so you'll be able to see the butterflies at the end and in the close-ups and how they kind of end the banner. So if you're kind of looking at my banner going, why is it just stopping in the middle of nowhere? It's okay. I fixed it. All right, that's going to complete this layout for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet or you're new to my channel, hello. We love our new subscribers. We're so happy to have you here. I love to read all your comments, and I like to respond to them quite often. I usually respond to everybody. So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all again back tomorrow. Bye.